It is indeed in progress. And unfortunately unoptimized intro video incoming now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mondays presents Loki Thorsdays, the very last one, but stay tuned. Not actually the last one. Brought to you by Grow Generation.
Please,
Where the pros
no.
go to grow, little dog.
Shh, dog. Sorry about
It's
that,
fine.
guys.
Just do the Kevin Smith thing
Hey.
and yell, "Fuck off, Shecky! Shut the fuck up, Shecky!"
I know. Hey, stop.
I have a cat here. I'm recording
Stop.
from my room. I have a cat on my bed who might run his teeth along the microphone. And I've never heard exactly what cat breathing sounds like until he did that. So
That's all right. No, we got a delivery coming today, and that's probably it. So yeah. Let's carry on and see what happens, Nick.
yeah, who cares? It's a multiverse of madness going on over here. So
Yeah.
and again, spoilers. Oh, and to answer what I said before, this is the very last Marvel Multiverse Mondays presents Loki Thorsdays, because our next week we will be Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. Is that correct?
We kind of sort of halfway were for Black Widow, but Nick's gonna do his fun fonts and come up with the next picture and
Yep.
our wonderful new name, keeping with the MMM theme, which, I went theming today. See my lights? I changed the color today to match what we're talking about.
And this is I guess, did it turn green at the end of it today? Because today was a
Stop,
very
dog!
different.
No, it's always been turning green.
I knew
Hold on.
but did it? I didn't know if it did
Hold
today.
on 1 second, bud.
Okay. Fascinating television. Probably cut this out. If he doesn't cut it out, you might hear a dog die. I'm sure he'll cut this out. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm just in my room, talking to myself. I got a cat over here. Hey, Harry. He's here today.
Yeah, I get to use the our favorite Genreverse podcast network. We had to fuck up our technical difficulty. WandaVision, please stand by screen again. Yay. Anyways, Nick, go ahead. Carry on.
So yeah, we'll be Marvel Multiverse Mayhem moving forward. We're not going anywhere. There's more Marvel shows and TV shows. We'll continue to do this for TV shows on Thursdays, and Mondays will be the movies, assuming the movie comes out on Friday. That's almost always the case. Yeah. Sometimes a holiday will throw that off.
Yeah,
like maybe.
And who knows? As things go on and things change, you might see some more immediate reactions, some more immediate reviews, potentially more live stuff. But in order to really do that, we need you guys to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, give us some wonderful eye and ear time throughout the episode, and some sweet eyes on ads revenue over at lrmonline.com. That way we can keep giving you guys free stuff, but more. So you gotta make the boss some money for them to give us some money and do more stuff. So yeah, hit that subscribe and follow here on YouTube or wherever you're listening. If you're listening to audio only, but you're missing out. Telling YouTube's got the Animeversal Reviews Midnight Run is a video series now with puppets, and what else do we got? The Marvel show, Daily Cog, the Daily Cup of Genre, all that good stuff. But yeah, man, Loki, fuck, dude, like, can we just go into spoilers?
For all time, always. Of course. Go into spoilers.
Dude, I told you so. I told you so.
Except for recent backing off. But
the only
much bigger role than we thought either of us thought.
Well, I've always for several weeks you and I have talked about the possibility of Kang showing up, and I was like, I don't necessarily want it, and I said it might I think it was yesterday or the day before I had said, we might see someone that is King, but might not look like Majors, or we might just see a hologram or something like. No, fucker, Jonathan, or Jonathan Majors,
Jonathan. Yeah.
there.
Never calls himself Kang, but anyone who
Nope.
knows the casting is like. And then, of course, at the very end, the statue has the Kang armor.
Yeah.
Do you think this means? I think this. Well, I mean, if we're going forward, it'll be a variant or variants of him. So I guess one could be blue, but I'm assuming since we'll see multiple variants, that they'll mostly all just look like the actor with no face paint.
I couldn't talk about it with Manny, who is Hispanic American. I couldn't, because we didn't want to give away spoilers on the Daily Cup of Genre today. But I got to thinking a little bit, because and I don't want to get too political here, because this really isn't a very political episode or show by any means, but
the least.
I've often wondered, because when it comes to like the idea of representation on screen, the point is to see colors that you don't necessarily see often. The African Americans, black actors from other countries. People use the term brown a lot, so I guess that counts. But I don't keep up with all of the thousand myriad of words that people like and don't like, because it's funny. It's like you don't like a word, but it's still used in every other language. You only can't say. Anyways, the blue thing. That's what I'm trying to beat around the bush here. The blue thing. I wondered, will they not do it so that way you can definitely see the diversity on screen, but also isn't that kind of like,
no, because Gamora.
Yeah, but that's the only one, right? I can't think of anyone else.
Well,
Everyone
Drax
else
isn't white, is he?
Batista, that might be Italian. It might be Spanish. I don't know. What is he?
I don't know. It's just
because that's also another thing. And when
I just think like Grandmaster, you're almost better off not always coloring every character like the comics.
Yeah.
Like he had the reference to it with his little chin. Like I'd rather see Lee Majors acting without face paint, definitely without.
Lee is
Lee is the classic
$6 million man or whatever. Yeah. So that's a great point, and especially with Kang, because he's again blue, and we've had enough blue people.
That's true.
So I get
Marvel
that,
has
but
a lot of blue.
It's something that I'm wondering about in the future, because you're starting to see less and less people of, I guess, POC is the term in costumed roles where their skin isn't covered as often in these roles where maybe in the past it would have been. And I'm not complaining about it at all, because like you said, sometimes it makes sense to not color every fucking person blue,
especially after Thanos and Doomsday.
Yeah,
I think you'd want to not color another, especially if you're gonna make him a Thanos level threat. Don't make him a color or a CGI
and you're
Thanos.
Right. We might see like a variant that is blue, or maybe when he puts on the helmet's visor is blue, something like that. It was just a curiosity of what is Hollywood gonna do with that, because what happens if you have a diehard that comes on and is like, no, I want to be purple, like like you reboot Thanos or whatever the case may be. And it's just a curiosity. It's one of those things in 2021 where you really don't know what people are going to think or say at the consumer or the creative level about who should be painted, when, and why. So let's we can get off of that if you're good. Yeah, anything to add to that?
No,
it's
it'll
just
be
curiosity.
I don't know, because I mean, Marvel's better at being true to costumes and colorful, at least colorful wise.
Yeah, that's why I think we'll see some sort of homage to, just like his shirt has the little gold circle printed on it and things like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the character. But let's talk about all the shit I got right, because that's what's great. So I said that I thought it was possible that the man who remained could be a version
one
of
who remains,
Kang.
I think.
The one who remains. I said it
Which is
could
what they
be
call him.
Kang. I said I don't think it'll look like Kang, but it could be, and maybe they'll de-age or age him or whatever. And yeah, essentially got that. Except it was Jonathan Majors, just Jonathan Majors in
Just to
a
see appeared
purple
in
and green
Lovecraft Country.
clothing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'll take that. I said that I thought the Loki's success would be a failure, would cause bad things to happen for everyone else. Yeah, got that. And
finally
then
have a TV show that isn't just setting a new status quo for characters, it's setting a new status quo for the entire MCU.
Exactly.
Because we got Scarlet Witch, we got a new Captain America, but neither of those
spun
off into anything weird.
Yeah, I said that today on the morning show, or yesterday, I should say. By the time this comes out, people watching it on Thursday, that yeah, like you have character growth and some world for like Earth, if you will, sociological changes going on with those first two shows, but this actually did a lot for the whole MCU, clarified some stuff about the time, multiverse wars, if you will, which I am iffy on how they said it at first versus what
Kang's the truth. I mean, Kang could still be a trickster. He seems to be telling the truth, except for the part where it's like, oops, I didn't know it was gonna happen. Let me be candid with you now.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would happen to this point.
And then I said that I thought Kang was imprisoned or being kept away, which both. He kind of built his own prison
for other Kangs in a way.
Prison for other Kangs. So the only one I got 100% wrong as far as this show is I thought Renslayer would be either trying to get to him or trying to keep away from him. And I'm not going to give myself any credit, but she does say she's going to go look for, and I forget the word she used, but it's an allusion to who she doesn't know about Kang yet, but it's an allusion. She's going to go look for the person in charge of the TVA. So 3 out of 4, man, that I basically called 3 weeks ago. Not too shabby. What'd you think?
The episode?
No, about me being right. No, I'm joking.
No, that's great.
I'm joking.
That's great. You're always right.
I'm joking.
Like the time we.
I'm just saying.
Time.
I made some claims a few months ago that are slowly cooking, but I'm not even wearing a watch. But they're slowly cooking. But we'll see in the long run. Man, let's talk about just majors, because dude,
oh my god,
I didn't expect this much time with him,
or like his take on Kang. It's
his
just
take
fun.
on a version of
Well,
Kang.
I think all of them will I mean, they'll be more angry and stuff. I hope all the Kangs we see are this kind of Loki chewing this. Like I think he's the most chew the scenery villain since Loki, and below him I would put Mysterio, Zemo, and Ultron as fun villains. But he just seems he is all over the place. I mean, even like Agatha level. Like he's just chewing on the apple and like, oh yeah, I'm mortal, and then he's like, oh, you thought you could kill me? I know everything. Like, just fun.
Philippines. His father's son of Filipino descent. Batista, sorry.
Oh.
I know we got far away from
yeah, no, I was curious.
From Dave, but yeah. His mother's Greek descent, father Filipino. That is weird. Batista. Yeah, it's one of those odd name, and the Philippines is a really interesting group of islands, if you will, a nation, with the fact that it's got a lot of Hispanic influence, and then of course I think there's even some Portuguese influence there, and then of course it's a Pacific island, so it's got a lot of Asian influence, but it's a very strange meal and such good food. Oh my god, adobo. Oh! Anyways.
I thought Kang's apple looked delicious.
Was it green? I think it was.
Yeah, it was my kind.
Like green apples. Yeah, man. I
was blown away by
loved it.
Oh,
how much time
so
we got
fun.
with him? What the hell?
That's his origin stories this episode. He explains the actual multiverse wars, which is him meeting other versions of him.
Yes.
And they're helping each other out at first, and they're like, wait a minute.
31st or 33rd century.
So from the future.
Yep.
And it's like, wait a minute. And then they start to realize it's like Jet Li's the one or some shit. Where they're like, I could use my knowledge to wipe out his universe and take it like what's good from it. So that's a cool, yeah, it's not a long time ago. It's in the future.
Yeah.
Well, for him, it's not. Obviously, he's at the end of the timeline still, in a way.
It's interesting that they say that specifically, that the 31st century, because that's the Nathaniel Richards origin.
Doesn't he also kind of say he's had many origins, or does he just talk?
He does.
He has the very names. No, I mean, didn't the character say that? I know the comics he does.
Yeah,
he's a Stark.
He does.
He's also Egyptian at some points, right?
Like well, he travels. The Nathaniel Richards version traveled back to ancient Egypt.
So it's the same version. Yes,
and he also does become the Scarlet Centurion. It's complicated. Here's the cool thing though is they set it up like you said with the multiverse war. So last time they said at the beginning, Miss Minutes explains it as you know the timelines themselves warring with each other, and I was like, okay, sure. I can buy that. I hope we're not going to see like actual multiverse, like mutants and Avengers across time fighting each other. I didn't want that. And we don't get that yet. Kang, like you said, he discovers that he can time travel and all that and starts, you know, seeing the multiverse and travels around to them and pulls a, have you been watching Rick and Morty? This season?
Not this season, unfortunately. I don't have access to it. Only the first episode. It's funny
that this episode came out because last week's Rick and Morty deals with something kind of similar. It's funny, dude. Like, oh my god, like the coincidence is just insane. Either that or Disney was like, hey, let's do some really sweet synergetic things. But no, it's really interesting. I just, dude, there's so many possibilities with him. You know, I wonder if we're going to hear the name Richards in Quantum Mania now.
And that's the thing. At first, it didn't make sense to me when he was talking. I'm like, well, if he's allowed the Avengers to time travel, because they say the Space Lizards has, so he has. I'm like, why would you piss to Ant-Man? I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be a variant. He was like, I control time. Like, fuck you and the Avengers. Because, yeah, he, like I said, by killing me, it's almost like the Emperor type thing. He's like, you'll unleash a bunch of me. Like, and they're not as nice. No, I think he's like, they're not all as nice as I am.
Yeah. He was just great written. And I honestly hope that we see more of this. More of evil Kang, dark Kang. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little of him in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange before he shows up in Ant-Man. Like, even if it's a different variant.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I just read today that THR is reporting that Loki's in Multiverse.
Possibly.
And I was like, what? Like,
that
was news to me. But yeah, Hollywood Reporter is reporting it. And I'm like, and of course there's season 2 of Loki. We know.
And Loki's in a different universe that we can tell, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of the universes, multiverses. One where, where they weren't even pretending to be time.
Mobius hasn't necessarily
learned against the TVA.
Yeah.
And of course, one statue, and it's not the Timekeepers, it's Kang. Which is interesting. I noticed in his... You think there were more at one point? Or it's weird that when you enter his chamber, he has the Timekeeper statues and he has a broken statue.
Yeah.
And which one would assume is him.
Not only that, but the hooded figures in one of the rooms is clock faces. They had a flat, round clock face from what I could tell. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. From what I could see. It's all so interesting, man. Let's just, I guess, let's start with that opening.
I loved it.
All the sound bites from the MCU.
And the song, it's been a long, long time, which I've been
Yeah.
listening to a lot since Endgame, because that's the song Endgame ends on.
Yeah,
And
there's
about
better
time,
50s
obviously.
and 40s, 50s, and 60s than that. I need some rock and roll, man.
But that was, I mean, that's it's just a nod at the last time we saw
Yeah, I
a
know.
lot of the characters, and then we hear all their like some of the best clips from the
All the
MCU,
sound bites. Yep.
and then you zoom way out and seeing multiple multiverses kind of bumping each other, but not like breaking into each other.
Yep.
And when we see, there's interesting when theory I've seen is when we zoom out, we see just a random spaceship. People are
I
like,
thought it.
some people are like, is that the Fantastic Four Lost Astronauts?
I don't know. I thought it was the Benatar or the Milano or whatever.
And it's not
Whichever
the Milano. I
one.
rewatched just the beginning to see if I
Hmm.
recognize what kind of ship it was. It's not a Quinjet. It's not like Banner's Quinjet either or anything.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it could
Maybe
be, and it could not relate at all, but just the
it could
geek
be
in
a
me.
Kang variant out
Yeah.
there trying to break through. Like, yeah, guys, like legitimately, the possibilities are endless now. Which is scary because there's a lot of stuff that I really fear happening. That I don't want to happen, and it's like, well, shit, I got quite a few things right about a lot of different things, and I kind of consider that like great minds think alike. But some of the things that I've thought of where it's like if I line up the logical conclusions, like the Eternals being responsible for mutants, I hate that idea. I hate the idea
Is
that
that even
there's
a rumor?
yeah.
Oh,
I hate the idea that there's latent mutants, latent X gene in all of Earth. Like, just to snap your fingers and all of a sudden, no, I don't want it done like that.
that's another place though. Kang could pop up if they're like all
the
over the
multiverse idea,
timeline. If they've been around for, yeah,
which is what I want. I want the mutants to have come up in a world where there wasn't
yeah.
Avengers. You know,
Well, I'm just saying Kang could be in Eternals because it goes back
could be.
millions of years, and Kang's like all over the timeline.
What if he's a celestial? I don't know. No, he's human. He says
Yeah, he
he's
says
flesh
he's
and blood. Human, born in the 31st
and he appears as a
century.
human to us.
Yeah. You know,
And if he's Franklin Richards, then he would be
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Richards.
Franklin is Reed's
the
son.
son. Yeah, that'd be too quick.
Yeah, Nathaniel's 100 years later, 200 or 150 years later, depending on when you want to start the Marvel timeline.
So, yeah, looking through my notes, obviously, I mean, it's all about the ending. There's cool, interesting stuff happens in the TVA. Like you said, Renslayer wants information from
Yeah, it looks
Miss
like
Minutes, and she'll give him the information that he wants.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just giving you what he wants
so
to
Miss
give you.
Minutes works for
Kang.
He That Remains.
Yeah.
And
Is she still calling me that? I like
Yeah.
that line.
And then it showed that Renslayer doesn't know what she knew what was going on, but she didn't know the extent or the why. And now that shit's falling apart, she wants to find out why.
And yet, for some reason, she knows that Mobius can't even touch her. I don't know if it's just because of her skills or someone's watching out for her, where she has some line where she's like, "You're no threat to me," and then she kicks his ass.
And they could still. I think they're gonna go with the one where maybe he being Kang falls for her. Like I said, it didn't happen this show, so I can't claim it as a win. But you could still see that she does know him, or at one point knew him, or at one point he pined after her in a Quantum Mania or something like that. What do you think the chances Renslayer shows up in Quantum Mania now?
I think they're pretty good at this point.
I think they're pretty fucking
really good.
Yeah.
Like that's probably where we'll see her next, unless she can show up on Disney
That
Plus
Loki
somewhere else.
season two.
Yeah, but Loki season 2, I assume that falls after Ant-Man, just on shooting schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
how
I don't know,
badass was that? Just to like you waste the end.
It's like the Avengers thing.
Just to say it, but you know.
Yeah, it's like the Avengers ending is only not a post-credit scene where it's like the Avengers will return or like Iron Man will return. You know, they've been doing that for a while because that's the Bond thing that they just do in every movie. Because of course it's like 007 will return.
No,
but then of course the way that B-15 wakes up the other variants to prove
Yeah.
that they're variants by bringing them to see her when she's not even Renslayer, she's just a teacher.
A principal or assistant or teacher, something in a
They put
school.
together with the pen.
Yeah.
The same pen
Well,
that
the
he saw
office
Morbius
could be a
early. Yeah.
guidance counselor, like
Yeah,
could
well,
be an
she works at a
administrator,
school.
something.
Yeah.
School. She's at a school. Yeah.
In 2018.
Yep.
So right before.
Yep. Which might be how she got saved, was Kang having the hots for her and pulled her out himself
Before the snap.
before
It doesn't matter what order it happened inside the TVA.
Nope.
That's also how she would be forgiven, put in charge. Kang's watching and he's kind of grooming her without meeting her.
Exactly.
Like, not in a weird way grooming her, but like, making someone with the same ideals to be.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you used the right word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the discussion that the comic book writers were, or at least that's part of the discussion that you can have about Ravonna Renslayer. It's an abusive relationship that she goes in and out of. And it's commentary on what that's like for people that are in abusive relationships. He's and she's. People, abuse begets abuse, and abuse causes cycles, and people get stuck thinking they're not worth anything. And I'm not against exploring that aspect of their relationship. I mean,
No
look,
reason
we're willing to go into all these other areas. Why not that one?
I know that of course, the reason Scott Lang and not Hank Pym Ant-Man is because they wanted to avoid some of Hank Pym's history. Like, that was very intentional. Because I was like, when the first trailer came out or the casting came out, and they're like, oh, Paul Rudd is Scott Lang. At that point in my comic history, I was like, who the fuck is Scott Lang? Why is Paul Rudd not Ant-Man as Hank Pym? Yeah.
But
they
did
that
cover
for a reason.
time where he bitch smacks his wife, or the time
even
in the
worse,
Ultimate Universe sprays her with bug spray, and I think he also bitch smacks again. Like, what the fuck, dude? Stop with the smacking.
It's not even like the DC reason to smack your sidekick.
I know, right?
Where they're doing crack. It's just
it was bad.
Abusive. He becomes abusive in the comics.
In the Ultimate Universe, in the
terrible
main
in the
line,
Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, in the main line, she's human, and he smacks her, and that's terrible. But in the Ultimate Universe, she's a mutant and literally has bug DNA, and he sprays her with fucking bug spray.
When she's little,
fuck?
He could have killed her. I think she is like the ICU in that for a while. That's the darkest timeline of all the Marvel Ultimate Universe. And that Captain America does behead a guy just like John Walker does. Like the Iraqi version of Captain America.
I'm telling you, it wasn't a beheading.
I wish John Walker picked up that.
Why?
I don't know. It make him even more of a bad guy, but
he wasn't a bad guy. He was a stressed out soldier that took something
who couldn't live up to the ideal, because no one can.
Basically, yeah.
Let's see what else I wrote down. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is the first good fight scene, I would say, in the series. I was not disappointed at all by the Loki versus
before
Sylvie
the weird
choreography.
Masturbation scene.
God, I didn't know they'd go that far, but
yeah, that's what it is, right?
But you know what's the even weirder scene than that? Did you ever see Alien Covenant?
Yes.
Where Michael Fassbender kisses Michael Fassbender, and that they're robots, but
weird.
Yeah, a lot of people online have been like angry if we were heading in that direction. Like I said, like back when
I didn't think
he got pruned.
Like yeah.
People were like, "Oh, thank God, Renslayer saved us from having to watch Marvel ship those two characters."
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. It was short. They're obviously not actually getting along.
No.
At that time.
Yeah, it's
they don't kill each other, but they're like,
yeah, it's like a cathartic thing. You've been on this big journey and stuff. They share their kiss and all of that before she betrays him. I love that scene though, where he's just like, "Look, I love it." She's like, he's lying. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a liar," and I don't think he was lying. You can't trust anyone, and I can't be trusted. I like that. And I like him having to learn to cope with his situation fast, when he gets kicked back into the TVA and the portal shuts after she betrays him.
He goes running around looking for
The slow motion kill. She shouldn't have had her mouth closed. She should have been yelling. I've
yelling at Kang.
I have never killed somebody in anger like that, but I have had to defend myself with appropriate measures in different situations. Usually your mouth isn't closed. Just saying, you usually got like a war cry going on, but whatever.
So what's interesting about that conversation too, the sides they take, is, I mean, it's not really political. It's just even Kang kind of says it. It's, do you go with the dictator that's keeping everything in perfect order?
Yep.
Or do you go for free will and everyone's fucked? According to Kang, at least it'll fuck over it. Like basically dictator, no war, or free will, war, like democracy and war.
I mean, people use that to justify atrocities committed by the Russians, the Cubans, the CCP. Fuck the CCP, by the way. Sorry guys, that's a daily cup of genre thing for me and Manny. That's the CCP, not the Chinese people, but the Communist Party. Anyways, you've got all these bad situations like that, but dude, it's such a cool conversation, a throwback, because that's one of the things Loki talks about in Avengers, free will, the lie of free will, and here he is fighting for it,
Yeah, this Loki also changed. He's like has the opposite perspective now, because maybe just because he still wants. I believe him now. Like I believe this Loki as much as I believe Infinity War, or even the end of Thor Ragnarok. Loki.
He made the same journey, just in a different way.
He even had a fake dying incident where he thought he was killed.
Yeah, exactly. And, people have that theory that the Prime Loki didn't die, that he doubled himself, but I don't want that.
I don't think that's how the filmmakers think about it, because that's why they were like, we thought it'd be fun to try out a different variant that did that. But the Loki we have a new Loki to know and love. But Loki Prime is dead.
Yeah, he needs to be dead and needs to stay dead. And we need to hear from our sponsors over at Grow Generation.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation is your one-stop shop for hydroponic grow supplies, product systems, and more. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Yeah, do that. Do it now. Anyways, what else we got, Nick?
I was going to talk about... I like... of course, you were right about Lilith.
Being a guard dog?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not even keeping him in. It's just a guard. Yeah.
Yep.
He's like, I encountered it. I made it my pet. I've been using it to swallow multiverses, like back during the war. In fact, he alludes to that was the way he was able to get everything under control, as he used the little to
weaponize it
so to take out other dimensions.
Multiverse. Yep.
Yeah.
Until he could basically secure his timeline enough. And it's interesting that we're using time
instead of
as the multiverse thing instead of just a strict universe. And I think, and I kind of like it to a degree, because it does again leave that possibility for what I would do to bring the mutants over, which is have them traveling from an alternate timeline and dimension, where you might be pulling mutants out of a universe where for them the civil rights movement is just happening, and now you could have Will Smith and Denzel Washington, even though I think there's much better suited black actors that, and nothing against Denzel or Will Smith.
Giancarlo Esposito.
No, too old. And that's the problem with Denzel and Will. Too old. Like, we don't need 25-year-old, what they tried to do with McAvoy.
Too young now.
And we don't need 55, 60-year-old McKellen and Stewart. Just get somebody that's like 35.
40s.
35, 30s.
Okay. Anyway,
You take my will. No, no,
I think it'd
agree.
be cool
30s,
if-
30s to 40s is great.
I think
30s
it'd
to
be
40s is
cool if they did a 2-part Avengers movie again. One's fighting Kang at the end's like Kang's like fuck y'all and like throws him into like Secret Wars.
Well, that's what I think is gonna.
Because that's how they
the
should bring
end
him
results
in.
Is Secret War, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be the Beyonder.
It could be Kang instead.
It could be Kang, but I think it's because it's the one thing that everyone really wants to see. Suicide Squad's really not it. We think we're going to get a bit of a supervillain team up in Spider-Man, but again, you know, while yes, certain actors and actresses have ran their mouth, we don't know official synopsis or how long whoever is making appearances from other films, but we have not had a good supervillain team. So imagine, like I said, a Dark Avengers, but not calling them Dark Avengers or anything, but you know, Doom and Kang and Loki or whatever, even Thanos, bringing him. Fuck, I would love to see Josh Brolin pulled back out of time somewhere for Secret War. Annihilate, like all of these villains teaming up. They're like, no, we're sick. That's the key. The Avengers, they teamed up together. That's what we need to do. We always go at it alone. Let's team up together and take them on. Like,
or even
that's
if it's just
what
the
I want
Thunderbolts we're seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Secret Wars would bring in the big, like bring in Magneto,
but
and
team them up to take on the good guy. Like, fuck yes.
No, like I said when we were chatting on Slack, I'm like, that's your other way to have a whole army. Is if the Kangs can get along for a little bit, you could have them fighting like an army of Kang variants, like one for each Avenger.
Dude, it was last week's or the week before's episode of Rick and Morty. Dude, when you see it, I think it's episode 3 or 4. Anyways, when you see it, you're just gonna be like, holy, did they know? Did they know?
I don't know how to access it without stealing it. You can't even buy episodes one at a time on the Amazon store anymore. On the PlayStation Store? I can do that. I have a PlayStation 3 I could find.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go buy past seasons I bought on Amazon and they give you it the week of.
Right.
But now it's like you can buy it once it's all out. It's like fuck you, Amazon.
Yeah. And HBO Max, it's got to be.
They only get the season afterward on HBO Max.
It's got to be because of a contract deal for airing rights with Turner. But we'll see.
Some last things. Obviously, Kang is kind of like the Willy Wonka or even the Matrix guy.
So you were happy with that?
Yeah,
100%. So was I. I think because let's face it, this is the biggest reveal of all and this is our first.
It's a big reveal than anything in the movie this phase.
Well, yeah, and there's only been one movie.
I know what I'm saying. This is a bigger reveal than one of their theatrical projects.
Not only that, well, also remember that theatrical project was supposed to be out before this. So
yeah, true.
Well before this, like almost a year before.
Well, Loki was supposed to come out
in 2021.
Early this year.
This year, yeah. Like I said, almost.
Yeah, that would have been almost a full year after.
So it's interesting, but I just he did a great job, dude. I don't know if I've seen Majors in anything else because I didn't watch. He was in. Was it?
I only watched the first 2 episodes, but he's good in Lovecraft.
Was that the one he was
Lovecraft
in? Lovecraft Country.
Well, and someone was saying it's a great week for him because he got nominated yesterday for an Emmy, and today he's revealed to be like the next big thing at Marvel.
One of them. I still think we're gonna get multiple big villains in this because I've got that whole idea of all the little strings wrapping in chords for like time, magic, ground level, Falcon Winter Soldier type, and then your techie stuff with Armor Wars, and so we'll see. But the cool thing just simply is the variations, just that alone. And I asked Manny, so let me ask you, gun to your head, especially after Ryan Reynolds. I know some people might trigger warning. Kyle says gun to your head.
No, I was making that funny.
No, I know you and I get each other's humor. We've
just
known
a
each other
saying
for fucking
too.
Years. But some people, whatever. There's so many. So gun to your head. How much of the Fox shit do you think is gonna fucking pollute the MCU? Because, dude, I'm so scared.
I hope they. Well, obviously, I'm with you. I hope they bring in none of it. I'm
I
gonna
wish.
say I don't think
Other
so.
than Deadpool.
I don't think so, other than Deadpool, and I hope they bring with him his supporting X-Men and not use them in X-Men movies. Like bring Colossus,
No,
Mega Teenage.
let that Colossus be X-Men, so that way you could actually make the good joke about, oh, you're finally in a good X-Men movie now, huh? he said it. I said it. X-Men 1,
I would
2,
love
3.
Deadpool
Suck.
3 comes in before the other mutants ever show up, and then
Oh.
he's like, "Hey, now like you're the X-Men, you're the X-Man. Where are the other guys? They definitely need Josh Brolin Domino though.
Yeah.
I want to see more of an X Factor than just
Oh
like
yeah.
Deadpool 3 can be X Factor, you know.
X-Force.
I'm not saying X Force.
Factor's the detective side of it with
Is that what
Multiple
Factor
Man
is?
and
Nice.
huh?
I didn't know what the X Factor was.
X Factor. Well,
It's also a show, but that's what I was not
I used to
referring
read it in the 90s, and I can't really remember it much, but I started reading again when Layla Miller showed up around the Messiah Complex days in like 07, 08, or maybe 09. Anyway, right around there, late aughts or 00s, whatever. And it became more of like a detective book, more like a mystery book. And I really enjoyed that. Like, it was just fun to do something different with the mutants. So yeah.
So I guess last few things I have. He obviously calls himself Conqueror. He's just like, I've been called many things. He never says Kang or Richards.
Or Richards.
He also says Annihilator, which made me think of Annihilus.
He did say that. He did say it. And I mean, fuck, dude, he's
you can have a variant of him that looks nothing like him that is Annihilus, or
what if they made it to where
I just want the season 2, the Kang Loki war, all variants of Kang versus variants of Loki.
Oh god. See alligator Loki bite off a Kang arm. That would be awesome.
Alligator Loki versus Kang crocodile.
Yeah. What do you think will happen with the season 2, man? What do you want season 2 to be? Let's say at the end of Quantum Mania, let's just pick a fairly likely logical point, which is that Kang is temporarily held or defeated, pushed back or whatever, or delayed. So he's not dead, or at least not all. What do you do in season 2?
What if Kang is the main villain of season 2 and it is Loki keeping him at bay until like the next Avengers movie? Ant-Man somehow just escapes, like banishes him quickly, kind of like because Ant-Man's not gonna be the end of our Kang or any Kang. No. Maybe they do kill a variant of Kang.
Maybe
that's weaker, but then maybe the second season is. Well, I still think we're gonna see all the other characters that are alive come back. Maybe Renslayer. If Kang is still a big part of season 2, maybe Renslayer is saved for the series. Owen Wilson, the Mobius and Hunter B-15 we know still want to find Loki, so maybe they jump across a few TVAs until they actually find their Loki. So I don't see it. It can't be just about. I would like to keep it a time traveling thing. It's just they're not chasing a variant he becomes friends with. They're chasing Kangs and trying to police Kangs.
How do you feel about the bait and switch? Because I've actually heard I've heard a few people say that they really feel like they baited and switched the this is going to be a Mobius and Loki journey, and in reality it was a Loki and Loki / Sylvie journey, where Loki masturbates at the end. And by that, people, if you're listening to no, he doesn't actually. But what else would you call making out with yourself? Like the closest thing I could think of is masturbation. Like,
yeah,
whatever. There's so many old high school conversations about things that people would or wouldn't do that could go with that scene and conversation, and I'm like, no.
Well, have you watched The Boys season 2?
Yes.
They go even grosser with it.
I know.
Well, of course it's The Boys, so they go gross. But if you want the really gross version of this kind of thing, it's not multiverse. Check out The Boys. It's disgusting.
Oh man, yeah. Anyways, what else you got?
I think I said my piece.
I am scared because it's I don't know. Like, yeah, sure, I called this, but I've got two theories going forward as far as like mutants, the Fantastic Four, almost everything I've got up to now. I almost feel like Kang. I almost feel like, the Conqueror, the Annihilator, where it's like I know everything up to this point, and now I'm scared because I don't know. And like I said, I joke about the Kyle's right thing. Yeah, sure, I do legitimately get a kick out of it every now, but in reality, I don't mind being wrong because it's fun to be surprised. But when I get a few things right in a row and I start realizing, okay, maybe I'm on the same wavelength as Marvel in a lot of ways, but holy shit, I've looked at the evidence and my brain says this way is a possibility and this way is a possibility. One of them scares the fuck out of me because I told man, like, I don't even want to fathom Marvel 20th century fucking idiot fans. Sorry, you guys aren't idiots for liking us. You're idiots for liking other shit. Like Venom. But oh my god, look, Nick. Nick's like, you can't. You remember when Jammer used to do that on those fanboys, like just rail against all of the fans? Oh god. No, what was I?
You said there are two paths.
Yeah, so one of them scares the fuck out of me because it's like, I don't
Sony?
want that Fox. Dude, do you really want to fathom Chris Evans was Johnny Storm in one universe, but Steve Rogers in another? No, I don't. No.
I don't think it's going to be too big of a movie if they do too much of that.
I agree, but
I'm already afraid for Spider-Man. There's going to be too much going on.
I agree, but I think they're still going to pull certain aspects, or at least say it existed or it happened, so they can leave the door open. And it's that rumor that there's been talks with Jackman, the known stuff that's going to happen with Deadpool. Feige himself said, yeah, Deadpool 3 is in active development. Now, those two words, active development, mean a lot. Ask Nick. You were in the business. Yeah. Nick, active development means what? Somebody wrote a sentence on a piece of paper, right?
Right.
All the way up to like filming. That's active development.
Let's give
right?
Deadpool a subtitle instead of a 3 and call it Deadpool. I'm fucking home, bitches.
I wish.
Finally fucking home.
I honestly had wished that he had gone with Deadpool 2 Deadpooler. That was my wish for the original movie.
Did you know that was almost the title for Sherlock Holmes, The Game of Shadows? I mean, a book of the game, whatever the Sherlock Holmes 2 with Robert Downey Jr. is called.
No.
Because the producer is the Die Hard producer, so they almost said Sherlock 2, Sherlock Harder.
Yeah. No, you gotta use more of a portmanteau. Is that it? I don't know. Where you combine two words for a new one, Deadpooler, instead of Die Harder.
And we didn't mention it, but obviously we've seen our first MCU Deadpool appearance yesterday or 2 days ago.
We saw a very, as you used,
first crossover,
synergy.
Disney using
with 20th Century Studios, which I hate. Why did you guys get? I know why you got rid of the Fox name, but that's one of the oldest studios in America, guys. You just erased the name.
Definitely older than Disney.
I mean, sure, it's tied to a divisive news network as well, but so is Ted Turner. I mean, and so is Microsoft. Hey, every conglomerate's tied to some divisive media company, whether it's the entertainment or news side of things. Whatever. I had hopes when, I know this is way off topic, but tell me you didn't also have this hope, Nick. When Disney's buyout of Fox went through, did you not have just a slight hope that they would return the 20th century fanfare to the Star Wars movies?
I hope they would. I knew they would.
Over the Lucasfilm
I didn't think
thing.
they
you
would,
didn't have to put it over the 20th century logo. Just the fanfare. Put that over the Lucasfilm Limited screen instead of the 20th century, And it plays all the way up until a long time ago in a galaxy.
I mean, that's what makes the other ones feel so classic. Just like the Marvel. Like even today, the Marvel theme has become so ingrained in my mind. I smile when I see it, whether it's Black Widow or Yeah. And then when they play
Anyways.
with it, it's fun too. Like I still love the marching band over episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it's playing Star Spangled Man.
Yep. It's just fun to see Marvel having fun with their property. Absolutely.
Which is kind of, I mean, basically what they've done for the last phase, at least.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
No, I mean, and I was talking about phase 3 when I said that, but also.
Yeah, no,
phase 4.
I agree. Both phase 3 and this, man. The Korg and Deadpool thing is great. I have looked as hard as I could. I don't think there's a physical batch of Easter eggs for the MCU in the scene.
Just the Fantastic Four can, right? Or whatever.
Dude, I honestly think no, it's not even Fantastic Four. I thought it was. It looks like this. There's like a cover of the Fantastic Four where it looks like Reed is coming out of a yellow and orange portal, and I think it's like a 70s or 80s line. And I thought that was the image on the can because it does look like a Reed old fashioned blue Fantastic Four shirt, but it's really just a Free Guy can.
Because I haven't watched it, but someone, New Rockstars or someone actually put out,
I'm sure there's
video
probably
just for that.
But I didn't see anything myself.
I was too amazed to see those two, even though it's synergy. They're both in Free Man.
I think there's words in there. I think we're gonna find out in like a year. Feige or Reynolds or even Taika's gonna be like, ha ha ha! Did you catch this and that thing? We totally told you everything, and they hit it. So I think there's some stuff there, but at the very, very least, now we all know Ryan kept a suit from Deadpool, and he
probably wasn't there
a lot.
I think if anyone standing there, just like they didn't have to have they just needed Taika Waititi's voice. They didn't motion capture him for that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but the thing is that Deadpool is actively on camera. That's a
even when he's not releasing Deadpool movies,
right? And Disney, not because they could have just put Ryan Reynolds in a latex Deadpool mask, with the scars, right? And they didn't have to. They animated the eyes. They lit them. They did the whole nine. And it's not as good as the movies, but it's pretty fucking close.
It's as good as the other ads that they do.
Yeah.
How like they'll do 1,000 ads related to the movie. Like, here's even how to check your testicles for cancer. That was one of their ads. Yeah. It's obviously not Ryan Reynolds, and the mouth doesn't even move in all the ads they do, but it's always his voice. You're like, that's Deadpool, baby.
And he actually released a picture of him in the suit on that set filming.
Really?
Yes, Reynolds
awesome.
Did. It's him, dude. It's him in the fucking suit. Now, I guess it could theoretically be a photoshopped image, but it looked real. Like,
I don't know why you'd fake a behind-the-scenes photo. It looks more like his couch than Korg's couch.
Yes, it is. That's Deadpool's room.
Deadpool's, yeah. I love it. Ugh.
Where's the fucking dogs? When he's watching the Cruella thing? I love it.
I love that. That was his last review. Another Disney synergy thing, but like being able to be Deadpool.
Did he actually do that, or is it just a bit for this video?
No, it's just a bit.
Okay, because
they're pretending it's the second episode of a reaction video.
They should
show,
do
like
that
what we do.
with him, like straight up for the next 5
all the Marvel
years.
Movies.
Just let him react to 20th Century and Disney trailers.
Well,
I still like your idea. I don't think they're gonna go with it, but I like your idea of Deadpool should be the new cameo guy. But we'll see.
A lot of people hate that idea. Like Twitter's broken on that. So many people hate it. Someone's like, block me right now if you think that's a good idea. So I was like, okay, block.
Anyways, Nick, I think we're good, man. Should I start the thing?
Yeah,
start the ending thing. So guys, check out lrmonline.com every day for all of your what do I say? Oh, entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. A lot of great content goes up there. All of our wonderful podcasts, the Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, Daily Cup of Genre, Animeversal, and the Animeversal Midnight Run, Star Wars' Cantina show, so much content. We'll be covering a Vietnam War movie next month on Battle World. Really cool stuff, all available in audio format. Also, wherever you get your podcasts from, all for free. Help us keep it free subscribe, follow, share us with some friends and family. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a bunch of social media information down below. But if not, I'm at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, and I host the Daily Cup of Genre with Manny Gomez. Nick, what do you got going on?
I'm at Geeky Nick Doll on Twitter, and I also do Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. I don't know if I'll be on this week or not. I'm waiting on vacation stuff, but we're doing Black Widow. So
Everyone else is. May as well just join the crowd.
well, I mean, if there's a movie like Black Widow that came out that week, it's known that we'll do it months in advance,
Yeah.
unless their release dates changed forever, like
Yeah.
before it came out.
It's all good. Yeah, everyone, thank you so much for listening and all that. Nick, I'm starting the exit video, buddy.
All right. Don't forget, we'll be back with other Marvel content until August 11th when there's new Marvel stuff. Otherwise, Excelsior!
And enough said.